call, press 2. If you would like to permanently block your number for hello, this is a free call from an incarcerated individual at Denver Women's Correctional Facility. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. I think I was back. I was like, oh my gosh. That went through fast. That what?
I said, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just relaxing. I was watching some TV and just chilling, really. Not really that great out. I mean, it's not that cold or anything, but the sun's not even really out, so. I was just laying here and kept closing my eyes, and then I called GTL, and they told me that you'll have to probably grieve it from there.
Oh, God. Never mind.
Yeah. I'm like, well, she doesn't even have, like, GTL from there or anything
grieve,
like that.
I'm not there, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
That's weird, though, because that's GTL's money. So it's like, basically, they just keep the money. It's GTL keeping the money, not Kansas, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and you only have, like, 90 days to, like, refund it, or else they just keep it.
Yeah.
So.
Because, you know, they always somebody stealing people's money.
I know, right? That's what they do.
Yeah.
How much did you have on there?
I think it was like 56 because either my stepmom or my aunt, one of them must have figured it out and had just put money on there.
Oh, really? They're probably like, dang it.
It had to be one of them because they had wrote a message, and Red had told me that they wrote a message, but I never got to see it because obviously I went out to the yard that morning, and then, of course, I never returned.
Oh, that sucks.
She may have wrote, but she didn't write you back, so she might not have wrote anybody back to say I was gone because they might have turned it off right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I could text her and just tell her that you're there and this and that, whatever.
Yeah, well, her number's on her now, so I can call her.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, all my numbers got added. I guess they added them a little bit ago.
That was quick. Didn't you just do it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday. She said she was turning it into the guy, and he would have to look over it, whatever. But all the numbers were the same except yours. So
yeah.
Yeah, so he probably just saw that those same numbers were already approved from before, so, you know.
Yeah, so it was pretty quick. It was just mine that they had to do.
Yeah. Did you get a message? Like, usually they send a message to ask to approve it.
Oh, I didn't even look.
Oh, no. They might not do that. They might not do that anymore because now they ask for, like, full information, like name and address and all that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't get anything, and then when I seen that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to answer every Colorado call until I know it's her.
So these crazies are at it again?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I want to tell you, but I want to see. I don't think that they're going to get phone calls because I looked it up, and it said no because they can't profit from it there, and they don't usually do that anyways. I think they just did it because you moved from before. And they passed a law, like in August of 20, like just after as you got like left, basically. Yeah. So in months they had to like do something with like how because I guess they have to do. I don't know. I forgot. It's like pretty much. I don't know if our phone calls are free because they said that our phone calls will be free now. Did they do that?
No. Wait, who said that?
It said it on the internet that some law passed that they're building on to where our calls are free. So they can't, like, profit off, like, selling, like, calls and stuff like that.
Wait a minute. So, you didn't pay for this call?
Well, I put it on advance.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know.
You're saying it hasn't started yet, but they passed it.
Yeah, well, they passed it in 2023, and then gradually they were going into that. So by now, it should be that way. So I'm not really 100% sure.
That might be why they have something on here about that advance pay thing. It's like a notice, and it says, like, due to some kind of changes in law. It says something about their advance pay people have to do it through advance pay, that you can't call them and they add a debit or something. It was saying, I didn't know. I was going to call you and send it to you.
Maybe that's why. I did put 30 on there, but I don't know if I'm being charged or not. I didn't know. On the Securious, they have like all these different things that you put money on. I'm like, what? But then there's like a separate thing for JPay, and then you can go in the messages there. There's like two separate things. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with this. But I was like, I don't even know where I'm putting money or what I'm doing, but I want to make sure you can call. I don't know, but they said that they passed something, and they can't, and like the outside can't profit off buying phone calls with that law. So I don't know, but I'm praying not. Hello? 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 You there? Hello?
Hello, this is
Try to call back. Hello?
the caller has hung up. Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank God. I'm like, oh no.
I think it's because, like, when the the thing, it's hard to get a call in because everybody's on the tablets, you know what I mean? And it uses the tablets to call.
Oh, because I kept hearing like a little click, kind of like randomly.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
So the headphones have the little, the little piece you turn off and on. So I kept doing that, but like, I guess you couldn't hear me because the bandwidth.
Oh.
You know, because everybody probably uses their tablet all the time, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh no. Call me back. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm trying, but I can't get service. It's basically like a cell phone. If you don't got service, it ain't going to connect.
Yeah, that's so weird that, like, you can hear me, but I could not hear you for nothing. It kept, like, clicking. Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm good. I went outside for a couple hours, and then I went to class about dealing with emotions, and then I have class again at 1 o'clock, and then class again at 3 o'clock.
Oh, that's cool. So you're keeping busy.
Yeah, and then after class at 3 o'clock, we have to lock down for 4 o'clock count, and then 5 o'clock we come back out.
That's cool. So you're mostly out.
Well, I'll be out all the time once I make level 3.
Yeah, which could be long.
Yeah, it shouldn't be long, but you can do everything then. You can go, like, I want to make it before the end of the month because they have surge coming up. Remember when I told you it was like this group where the men come over from the male facility and they do like, it's like a bunch of lifer men and they come over and talk to the girls. And we talk about like everyday life, like prison, and we do like sessions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we got a comedy show the 28th, I think. And then, of course, we get church every Sunday at 9, and then another one at 10, and then another one at 6 p.m., which is kind of behind bars. And then we do yoga on Mondays at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then, let's see what else do we got coming up. Yeah, once I make level 3, I'll go do all that stuff, library, gym, that type of thing.
Yeah. I called all the courts, and they said that you'll have to send a letter letting them know that.
Well, they don't know how they think I'm going to send a letter, because everything I have is in Kansas.
I wonder, no, I told them, I'm like, well, she just got transferred. She's an intake. She does nothing, like, right now. And, yeah. And they're like, well, she's going to have to send, like, some kind of proof. And I'm like, you guys are so frustrating. It's like, I'm telling you.
Like, that's the thing about it. they have a law that you have to let them know your address change within 14 days, but I'm not going to have my stuff within 14 days. I've already been here 9 or 10. So that's why I asked you to call, because it's like, you would think common sense, they would be like, oh, okay, well, she's an intake. Let me, put something on here to say, it'd take longer than 14 days because, she won't have anything for 14 days.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
I know, I was like getting so frustrated. I'm like, seriously, she is. So can you just, I'm not going to lie about her. Her address is at Denver. Like, why would I send you to Denver? You know?
Oh, I forgot to tell you if you can let Eric know too.
That what?
He might already know, but if you could let Eric know that I'm back at D-Dub.
Oh, okay. I'll email him and let him know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Sandler?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I wanted him to, just let him know whatever. He didn't already know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll email him today and let him know.
So my friend's thing still says she got a life sentence when she went back.
Yeah. It says life sentence and then something else added.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand that because so it still says felony murder, right?
Yeah. It does.
I don't understand that. That's crazy because she wasn't even. That's crazy. She was driving a car. That was it. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, seriously? What did she do?
Remember you had looked it up that time on Reddit about the smoke shop getting robbed and this dude went crazy and he was hearing voices and he killed this guy at the smoke shop, but she was in the car. Yeah, she was in the car.
She wasn't even involved, really. Just being there got her in that. That's crazy.
Because they have a law here, a compliciter law. So, like, they're saying that she knew he was going to do that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, how can they determine that? How can you really know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says life without parole, 4 years.
4 years?
Oh, wait, she's in county. It says, it says current facility, LA Vesta or whatever, correctional facility, and then, I'm sorry, that's where she was. Never mind, that's where she was in jail. But no, she's in the correctional facility right now.
Oh, okay, because she went back to county for her trial, so that's what she was looking at.
Yeah, yeah, it says life plus 4 years.
Plus 4?
Yeah.
I must have added something when she went back.
That's
I really was rooting for her because she was the one I told you that when they went back to the sub shop, she literally parked her car right there. Like, if you knew somebody was going to go do that, why do you park your car right there? Like, it's on a side street, but under a camera where they could see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why would you get life for that even, though? Maybe just a couple of years, maybe, but come on.
At least, like, accessory or something,
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I was really hoping that she would have got that word. Dang. And it says she's back at Letecia?
Yeah.
Dang.
No, it's good you weren't transferred there.
Huh?
Glad you weren't transferred there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and then when I got back here, my friend Roxanne, I got back here and I asked my other friend, I was like, where'd Roxanne go? Can you tell her to come over here? And she was like, my friend was like, yeah, but that's going to be a problem because she's in Letecia too. I'm like, what? Yeah.
So you're like,
yeah, some of the girls that I was up here in this mental health unit with before, like Vanessa I knew from county. I was with her the whole time in county. But because she sat in county like 2 years. And then I met Roxanne when I got here. But when I left, I didn't get to tell Roxanne bye. And because, I left in the middle of the night, and we had just celebrated my birthday. And then we did my birthday and then we did someone else's birthday that following week. I think that was like 13th or whatever. And they took me in the morning. So,
yeah.
So I think you had probably,
yeah, my friend was like, yeah, she woke up and went to your room looking for you. I was like, why is all her stuff gone? And then you're gone. But, yeah, so I guess she had, like, got here, did really good, got in the dog team and was, like, a dog handler. And then, I guess she got into a relationship with somebody, and then it became abusive. This is a story I was told. I want to hear, but it became abusive, and then they talked with her position with the dog team, and then I guess the option was that they, send her there for a little break. But the thing about it there is, if you get sent there, you can't because she gets one little write up, she's getting sent back here, and she's going to close custody.
Oh, really?
It's so petty, like so much more pettier there because it's more of like a, they expect you to, it's got to be everybody that never gets in trouble that goes there,
Oh.
So one little thing though, sending you back here in close custody, and that was what she got out of it. When she came to this program, mental health, she was in close custody, was getting in trouble, fighting, whatever. And she was a lifer, she has a life sentence without parole. So, she was just like, dang, I don't want to live in close custody my whole life,
Yeah.
So she came up for this program and got her, got her out of trouble, whatever. I would pray with her and she's like, I'm going to do good. She did, but then I guess that situation cost her. So I guess they moved her there to to let it settle,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's been there for a while.
Well, she just left. They said she just left like 2 months ago from here.
Damn. Well, good thing you aren't there. It's probably better where you are.
Yeah,
actually.
she's been here in prison for a while, but she just went there on the van.
Oh.
That's what the counselors was telling me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks that she doesn't have. I mean, she doesn't even deserve life like that. That's crazy.
So Vanessa, Vanessa, that's Vanessa. I was talking about Roxanne.
Oh, Rex. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vanessa, that was crazy. I mean, that situation always just blew my mind that our justice system did that with her because that's sad.
Yeah, that is sad. I wonder what happened with that. I wonder if I can find anything.
Yeah, because I wonder if she went to a new trial and they just found her guilty again or what. I mean, like common sense, she drove the car, obviously, but I don't think that should account for felony murder.
Yeah.
Because they have to prove that she was going to rob the store or the guy was going to rob the store. And, the DA, of course, who her DAs were, the same one. The lady that walked around, wobbling, the same one I had. They were like, she is Bonnie to his Clyde. But that's why they returned the case back to county because they were like, they couldn't say that because that would be insinuating or implying that, these two went on these sprees all the time and she didn't even know the guy really. So, and they had never been in trouble before together. So,
yeah.
They call her Bonnie and Clyde. So that's why that was one of the reasons they overturned her. Is I read that.
Yeah. That's messed up. I mean, how would they even prove that?
They'd have to prove that you knew that a robbery was going to take place. But the crazy thing about it was, at the scene, there was what's the thing's called? The vape. There was vape, and the vape had the victim's DNA on it and the dude's DNA on it. So they smoked a vape together.
Right.
So do someone just go in there and just rob somebody, go in there and be like, you have to know somebody to be like, hey, you want to smoke a cigarette, or hey, you want to, or something.
Right. They really screwed her.
There was cash in a register left. I think it was like $1,000 left in the register, so the money weren't gone. So they were basically saying it was just items, like smoke shop items that was gone. And that's how they
grabbing like cigarettes or something.
Well, I guess them like bongs and stuff, maybe. I guess.
Oh.
I don't know. It was a weird thing. Like I remember her trial was only like 2 days long, and it was just like nothing because there was like nothing.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see if there's any updates with that.
Yeah, so sad.
I'll look and see when I get off with you, and I'll email Eric too.
Oh man.
I could even prove that. I'm so happy you're there. I literally when I seen you release, I was like, oh my gosh, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
What time did you know?
I knew about 3:30 on that Monday.
Oh, it took you that long to know? Okay.
What time? Where did you go?
I was at 9 a.m.
Oh, 9 a.m. Oh, they didn't update anything till like about 3:30ish.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah, about that. So I went on there. At first, it showed. Wait, how did it go? I think at first I went in there and it showed that you were there. And then a little bit later, I'm like, oh, let me see if, whatever, I might write or whatever. And then I looked in there and it showed that you're released. And so I looked it up on what that means,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, I was literally in like, I don't know. I can't even explain how I was in tears. All your prayers have been answered.
I knew something was up. I literally was standing on the yard in yellows, and I was orange suit and boots, and I saw a van up there, and I just it crossed my mind for a second, but then I was like, whatever. And then when the captain came down to park parents, I already knew. But they already told everybody to go inside. And I didn't see heartbeats until after people had went inside, and they were making it sound like I was going to property. So I thought I was going to pick up my lamp I ordered so I could put the oils on it. So I thought I was going to get my lamp. I'm like, oh, I guess they're going to come, because they were like, hey, property's calling you. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm probably going to get my lamp. But then everybody else was going inside the yard. And so I had left my baby whip outside, everything. So I just was like, okay, cool, all right, see y'all later. And then I just
I thought they would get you in the middle of the night, I honestly thought they were going to come and get you in the middle of the night. And they actually came during the day.
I don't think that's when they were supposed to get me, because when I got here, it was like 5 p.m. when we got here, Mountain Time. So, when I got here, I never got to go through intake again. So I didn't even have an ID or anything, because I never went back through intake. So when I got here, the lady was like, wait, you're here? You're not even supposed to be here until tomorrow. That was the lady here said that.
Oh, so, really?
That told me right there that they probably weren't picking me up so late at night. But they were probably thinking that someone had, snuck and told somebody, so they changed it up, earlier,
Yeah.
They thought, when I got here, I got put in a cell, and no one knew I was here. And so, 2 days went by. I'm like, I'm knocking on doors to the man. I'm like, I him out. I don't have anything. I don't even have shoes. I can't brush my teeth. I don't have nothing. He was like, who are you? And I was like, oh, they just got you back here. I said, no, I've been back for 2 days. He's like, oh, okay. And then these other people kept coming by, and 2 more days went by, and it was finally a Thursday, and I had literally was about to be on a meltdown, girl. I was in there losing my mind. At this point, I had started becoming delirious, because you know how I get.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I was afraid of.
Yeah, and then I've got so much anxiety and stress, and then I start disassociating, and that's exactly what I did. And girl, I started freaking out. Yeah, I started freaking out, and I was like, okay, now. I said, so then I started telling the people, I don't remember any of this, but they told me, they said, you started telling us, hey, do they do assisted suicide in this state? Like, what? I told you that I was like, Stauch, we don't do it. What are you talking about? This country don't have that. And he was like, you were adamant. Like, yes, they do. He was like, you were talking about all the people that did it. And I was like, yeah. I said, oh, man. Anything in a room like that. I had nothing. No. And so I started going crazy. And so that probably didn't help either, while they were like, okay, it were only like 2 hours, girl. They had me over here in the mental health unit. Like, you girl. They probably were like, Candace really tried to make her crazy, and now she's really gone crazy. Let's get her over there in the mental health pod.
It's like, y'all don't understand. I just need to move around. I need to get out. I can't be cooped in this room. I'd be the same way, though, if I was stuck like that. I'd be saying all kinds of stuff. I'd be like,
people should do it. They should do a study on that, because like put something on people's brains, like, put little caps on their brains and monitor that when you leave someone in a room like that. I mean, I'm sure somewhere somebody has done that. But, like, that's the same shit I was doing in El Paso County. When I got thrown in that room like that, I was segregated for, 13, 14 months by myself.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't know what was going, what was coming. I didn't know anything in the world going on. I didn't have the first newspaper. I didn't even know who had won the presidency. So it was just crazy. Like, that messes with your brain. And, like, I had after 4 days sitting in there. So then once I got over here in the mental health pod, the guy was like, "Oh, you just got here," and I'm looking at him. I said, "A former president says to me, you just got here." And I've been sitting over here for 4 days. It's crazy.
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, we have 1 minute left. That's crazy. I was feeling it too because I could not sleep. I was tossing and turning all night until I found out, like, you wrote me. I was like, man, I need to send her some money so she has some money, something.
I'm glad you did that because, listen, you want me to hang up and call you back?
Yeah, hang up and call me back. Okay. I'm just going to hang up. All righty.
The caller has hung up. You may start the conversation now.
Hello. That's so cool. You can call me back.
Hello.
What were you going to say?
What was I talking about?
We were talking about how I sent you money. I was thinking, oh, gosh, she's not going to have anything, and this is all I can do for her right now.
Yeah, no, so I would have put in a canteen order that day if I would have known, but I didn't know, Like, someone told me that you probably would have. I was like, she's probably thinking the same thing. I said, she's probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking, like, these people can't just probably do some stupid shit. So let me do this. But I had to put it in. So I was sitting there,
you know me.
no hygiene, no nothing. And I was like, oh my God, but I put the order in yesterday, so I won't get it till next week. But but they brought me, this one girl brought me some sour shoes to use, and then the lieutenant that was here last time, I just went up to her. I was like, I saw her, but they kept saying the lieutenant with a different name, and I was like, I don't know who that is, but she had got married, and I didn't know that. So when I see her walk in, and I was like, I called her over, and I was like, hey, look, check it out. They didn't give me nothing. And she was like, what? She's like, usually they let you bring a few items, on transport, that's open or whatever. And I was like, girl, I got nothing. So she was like, okay, I got you. So then she went down somewhere and talked to someone, and within like 2 days, they had brought me some deodorant and shampoo and conditioner. And I was like, thank God. And I told her, I said, hey, listen, when I'm able to order, I don't mind putting it back. This is like a pantry closet for people who are indigent,
Yeah.
So I had told her, I said, I don't mind, putting it back in there for whenever I can, start ordering again and stuff like that. She was like, okay, sure, no problem. She's like, that's for the indigent people or whatever. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't mind doing that. And then I was like, do you happen to have any hair bows and hair ties in there? She's like, okay, I got you. She brought me 2 hair ties back too. So I went ahead and put a body wash on there to put back in her pantry. And I figured if I do like one or two little items, I could put a conditioner, shampoo next time, and put a deodorant out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I sent you more too. I don't know if you got it yet, but I know you got to start all over.
The case manager, she told me, because she was like, wait, she's like, oh, you have 500. She's like, but then you have 400 because we took 20%. And I was like, I know.
Yeah, I added that.
That's how we got in the conversation about that. So then I'm like, so I was looking at, the whole thing, and she was like, well, you didn't have it all those times. And I was like, yes, I did. I said, matter of fact, I have account balances in my property. And then after we checked into it for a little bit, she's just like, oh, we never got it. And I'm like, oh, heck no. I couldn't over that lady. I go, I knew they were embezzling money. She probably thinks I'm nuts. I was like,
it looked like on their end, like you haven't been receiving any money.
Yeah, the 20%. Remember how we always talked about they take that 20%? They were putting it towards my Colorado stuff. They were putting it in their Canada stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so they'll take that whole forced savings because I added it up. So I was gone for 18, like 20 months. So they're going to take that whole that check from that thingy.
Yeah.
That forced savings that they wouldn't live. They'll take that whole thing when they get here because, I mean, what was that check? Like $800?
Yeah, it's 800.
They'll take that because all the months that was missing, the last time that got me think was when I was here in August of 2023. Yeah. So I asked, how do I find out where all that money is? And she was like, you're going to have to do property claims on it or whatever. Do claims on it with them. And I said, I sure am. I'm not letting that happen.
Yeah, I would do it. I want to know. Yeah, that's crazy because they shouldn't even be taking your money. Yeah. They shouldn't even be taking from you because it's not even your fault. That's your money. That $800 is your money, which is kind of cool. I need to update your claim from, was it North Carolina? I'm going to have to update that.
I'll tell you about that. They had mailed that to me. They had mailed it to me to fill out. And then the counselor, Miss White there, had me send that paperwork. Remember I told you I finally got that paperwork for the Social Security card? Okay, so she had me send it to her. She copied everything, gave me a proof of address, everything, and we mailed it to the local office in Topeka. But obviously, I'm gone before I could get a response back. So I don't know if I need to, I guess I could write the Social Security office.
Yeah, you're going to have to write them. I would write them.
The Topeka office, probably, huh?
Yeah,
because
that's where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I won't be able to write them until you send me my Kansas stuff, but because all my stamps and everything is in there, and it's different here with Canteen. You can only fill in 20 lines. We have it on a tablet, and if you order 10 cream cheeses, you could get 10 cream cheeses, and you could get 50 more items. But here you can only do 20 lines. So you think by the time you write, you're like by the time I did mine, I wrote, what did I write in there? Shaving cream, because I don't have a razor here, because they don't know where my razor is at. A magic shaving cream, and some other things. By the time you get to hygiene stuff, it was already at line 8. So,
yeah.
So, and then I had to get, I have no brush, so that comb, even though the comb was 13 cents, that still was line,
Yeah, that's added in too.
Yeah, so like I said, if you want to order, one of the lines I put Reese's. So I put 4 Reese's, but you can put 4 Reese's, but that only takes up 1 line. But like I said, you only got 1 line.
So as long as it's the same product.
Yeah, so that's why you have to do it just right. If you're going to cook a meal, and you got to get Mrs. Dash seasoning, peppers, onions, and that's already 3 lines there before you even get to your meat. You know what I mean? So you have to be. They don't let you do that. It's you can order spend your money. It's not bad. It's just you better figure it out. Or if you're ordering chicken, you better go ahead and do all your chicken for the month. You know what I mean? So if you're going to waste the line, you better go ahead and do all right, let's see, I need 5 bags of chicken. Okay, well let me go put a 5 now.
Yeah, because you can only do it once a week too, right?
Yeah, and then I got to figure out how to get in contact with Joe and them because Joe, him and Elisa bought that package, this past package, and it already pulled out of his account.
Oh,
I
dang.
can't get that package. Yeah, I can't get that package because it's I don't know if they still do them here. I think they do, but remember on the tablets there, we could do them.
Yeah, you can do all that.
He had sent me a message and was like, hey, what do you want in your package? And all I did was put everything in the card, and I copy and pasted the card, you know what I'm saying, and sent that through DTO. And so he just ordered it that way. But here, I think I have to do them online or something. I don't know. So I was like, well, I just have to get used to all the different little changes,
Yeah, exactly. I know, me too on my end.
Because like I said, you could do things a lot easier there with stuff like that, but it's a little bit more difficult here. Like this
just to order shoes, we can't put, you only get to do a catalog order once a month here. So like, we can't turn that in until June 1st, because already this is the May 1st one. So that means you won't get it until the first week in July. So that means you won't have any shoes until the first week of July. So I asked my friend, because she asked anybody, like, you know, because sometimes they have people who have, like when you go to the gym, you can rent gym shoes.
Yeah.
That won't be an issue. Yeah. But I told her to see if there was anybody. And then you know what I thought about? I said, man, if I would have known that, you know, we could have told that dude to left that whole order sitting there like he had it sitting that whole time, you know?
Yeah.
What was his name? The one man you talked to?
That what?
Remember the one guy you talked to here in Colorado? He kept saying, like, it's already tagged with her name on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Well, yeah, when we were trying to get your stuff, yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, so, like, I should have just left it.
Are you able to get all that? Yeah,
remember,
so you should have.
Remember they refunded it. They refunded it, remember?
Oh. So when you lose all that then?
Lose all what?
Because you got a refund for all that?
For the Colorado stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was saying, though, you know, if I would have known, I could have been like, yeah, just hold on to it there, you know?
You're right. You could have just left it.
Because then I'd have came back with shoes and and sweatpants and shorts.
Right. So you can't have shoes until June?
Yeah, because they have a catalog. See, the reason Colorado is different than Kansas is Kansas pays an outside agency to do your camping. So, you know, charge such an exorbitant amount for food. You know what I mean? All the inflation, you know, that has went on. But Colorado does canteen in-house here. So with everybody doing all the orders and stuff like that, you can only do shoe orders, like shoe, makeup, face items, threads, and stuff like that. They take a catalog order once a month. Because, you know, they get the items here, and then they put your name on them here. Because here they put stickers. They don't do that stamp thing. So, yeah, they do that there. But I'm going to send you all that other stuff if they do send it. The threats and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But if they don't. Because Heart Center's like, I'm taking everything.
No, I wonder what he's going to take. Why don't they bring it all with you instead of leaving it all there?
Girl, I know. You know, with the counselor and I was telling about it, she's like, oh. She's like, I don't know how we do that. I'm like, look, somebody's got to know because my stuff has to come from somewhere. Like, I was like, I at least need my TV and hair products, like at least the stuff that, you know, I left here with, you know?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it just be easier for them to just put it in there with you?
That's what I thought, but no.
Oh my gosh, now you got to depend on her pens to do all this stuff.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And it's not, and here's the thing, the property lady, Williams, she's good. She'll send it all. It's not her to have to worry about. Because she kept, like, whenever he would leave out the building, she kept looking all weird. I was like, what's wrong, Williams? And she was like, I don't know why he's acting this way. And she's like, I know how to do my job. And I said, Williams, it's not you. He's going to be difficult because it's me. I said, he doesn't like that I exposed him. He doesn't like that I sued him. He doesn't like that he brought to light things that they were doing, and he can't stand it. So he's going to take this out of me. Because she was going to go get all my stuff out the room while I was on the yard. And then, you know, I wouldn't have known, you know what I mean? Because they know I stayed on the yard the whole time. And then she was going to try to have it packed up and ready to be shipped out within a couple of days. So he was being all like, no.
Oh my gosh, why? That's so ridiculous. He's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just to make it harder, you know, everything's got to be harder with him. And just to take one last jab at you, that's all he does.
Yeah, he's like, we have to go through it thoroughly to make sure. So I said, first of all,
Why would they have to do that? Colorado can do that.
That's what I said. I said, it don't matter whether you go through it or not. I said, Colorado has to go through it anyway, inventory it. And I said, the stuff I can't have, they're going to ask me, do I want to donate it to a shelter or mail it off anyway? So
exactly.
Like all my hygiene, he donated to the thing because he was like, you can't take that anyway because it's unopened. But here's the thing, he shouldn't have made that choice. That should have been my choice, whether I wanted someone, because maybe I wanted a shelter here to have it. At the end of the day, I don't care because it's getting donated to a shelter supposedly, but like he was trying to make it seem like he had lent that to me and he was making the decision. And I'm looking at him like, dude, I purchased all this. It shouldn't matter.
Exactly. He just wanted to give you a hard time.
I don't know.
One last time of just, being a dick pretty much. That's crazy.
Yeah. I did. I had to say something more funny than smart ass.
I know. I wish I was there so bad. I really, really wish I was there to watch all this. Front row seat.
Well, I sure hope Miss Limpy changes. And the lady from Colorado was like, who? I was like, but Harkins was behind us. And I'm like, Miss Limpy. And I said, she limps over here all the time, acting like she's a warden, but she don't do her job around here. So all she does is oppress women. I said, she treats them horribly around here. I was like, I said, I'm surprised she's not on her gator somewhere watching this go down, you know what I mean? And then someone said something to me in the yard, and I was like, all right, see you guys. They're like, oh, we went to, and I was like, talking whatever, and her was like, you can no longer talk to them. You're not a KDOC inmate.
God. Are you serious?
Yeah. I was like, thank God. He was like, we don't do inmate. He was like, we don't do inmate to inmate. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever, douchebag. So yeah, that's all that went out.
What? That's so petty. That's literally petty stuff. All of them are petty, though. Seriously.
Yeah.
I am so glad you're out of there. I've been praying and praying. I was literally at my last with my patients. I really was. I was just like, I can't even handle this anymore. I've been like trying to hold. I mean, you know how like you're at that, like when you're really sad and you can't, like you're at the edge where you're just going to cry at any time.
Yeah.
That's where I was. At work, I was like, I was trying so hard. Anytime anybody wanted to talk to me, I'm like trying to hold it in and trying, it was crazy. I was literally at my...
There was not much more I could do either. I was just like, and everybody, the more and more they kept being all weird about, and the hot Hades, and they're, going crazy about these jellos. And then the girl had wrote on the last BNP now that she's allowed to go down to the kennels and watch, or the officers are allowed to go down to the kennels and watch for yellows. And I'm like, this is the stuff that they put on there. And everybody else, you see how those people wrote me back. They know my character there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it was getting done wrong, so.
Oh, yeah. They all love you there. Yeah. They all love you there. I sent all that.
Yeah, I read those. And I'll probably just have you write them back one more time and tell them I'll check them with them, like, every couple months or something.
Yeah.
When I can. But yeah, I was reading some of them, and I was dying laughing about Abby saying that her girlfriend cut her hair off and she's her man now. I'm like, oh, no,
yeah.
she done lost it.
I knew you would get a kick out of that.
I said, she done lost. I said, Candace done lost it and cut her hair off. Because her hair was long. Oh, well, I guess.
Yeah. Rita's really upset.
I know.
She is.
I help that girl many times. She's a cutter, and she tries to kill herself all the time. And there's been so many times I've taught that girl I love it, and like literally just because I never understand like the whole, like she explains it to me like she don't want to die, but cutting helps her. Somehow she explained it to me, but
yeah, I have a friend like that. I think it eases the pain or something. I'm like, why would you want markings all over yourself though? Like you have, they're like, oh, just like, I'm like, how can you do that? I don't get it. But
this last time though, she cut herself really bad. Like she's always had marks in her arm, but this time was like so deep. And it was like, she even started looking at them like, dang, I didn't really mean to do it that much. So you know what I mean? Like
So
Yeah.
I don't. That's why I got her to get out of that coaching program she was going to, and I said, "This is nothing but the devil doing this. You need to start going to church." I made her.
Yeah, now she is. Yeah,
she
she was
is.
telling me. She's like, will you still talk to me and this and that? I was like, oh, I feel bad. You know,
You have
it's like
1
I'm in
minute
my
left.
emotions.
Yeah, she's actually from Colorado Springs, and she her mom, she has a bad childhood too, like me, and then her mom
Oh,
another mom adopted her and changed her name because her real name was another name. Abigail is her adopted name. So she,
oh.
just like most people in there, have the whole, crazy lifestyle growing up and stuff like that. And so she just
Yeah, everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has their story, and that's what I understand. I get it. People have their, that's what some people don't understand. Which I want to tell you so much. Huh?
You know one thing's really good is Mr. Clicky from Kansas is gone.
Oh, really?
Remember him that would click and hang up on us?
Thank you for using Securus.
Oh.
Goodbye. Hello, this is a few. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
I think I just called you one more time because I haven't got a call.
Yay! You can call me anytime. Anytime, day, night, any of it. I'm so happy. You have no idea how happy I am. I can talk to you now.
Oh, man.
I'm so happy. I remember you telling me it's going to be so different in Colorado. I'm like, yay, I get to talk with my bestie.
I know. I told you, girl. I mean, every place comes with its struggles. Don't get me wrong. There's bad in every place, especially during incarceration, But, that place was just so much that it was so much that you couldn't even, not even a perfectly fine normal person couldn't take it. And I ain't nowhere near normal. So it was just
none of us are normal.
Yeah, but you have to stay strong all the time. And I'd be like, I'm just those girls though. I really do because those are really good people that I got, those are lifers, and so, I had that friendship with them that long. It was basically like Michaela and me, Michaela and Abby all the time, and me, and so Michaela's a lifer and Tria's a lifer. And Tria was all the time together at church. We did all the church stuff and had to deal with the chaplains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you make those relationships because you're with these people every day, going through the struggle and looking around. And in all reality, if I could have brought people with me, I would have brought Michaela and Tria. But Abby doesn't have that long. But Abby keeps having to stay there because Abby's a life, in Kansas, they have lifetime parole. So Abby's always on parole. So every time she'll violate it, she'll have to do time. So she could get out tomorrow. She just got to get herself together and hey, that's the problem. You know what I mean? But Tria and Michaela are lifers, and they have 15 years sentences. And so, if I could, those are two people I bring with me. You know what I mean? Just because I know, it'd be so helpful for Tria with her medical, because how sick she is. She's my friend. She has cancer.
What's wrong with her?
She has cancer.
Oh, that's the one that has cancer?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She had breast cancer. They got, what is it called? They got it out or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't be faithful about it. And I know that's a touchy subject for you. But
no, it's okay. About it. It is, but
it came back. She's the one I told you that came back the lump when they were killing her. It was a lump on the breast, but it was on her leg. Yeah.
That's so sad. I remember you telling me, but you never told me which one it was. That's sad.
Yeah, that's Tria. And so, we spent many days just outside of the yard praying for her to get appropriate medical care. They would take her to the doctor, and then they would do a scan, but only do a scan of her upper body. Be like, oh, we didn't find anything. And she'd be like, okay, then you need to do a scan of the lower body. Then by the time they did the scan of the lower body, which was really ordered the first time, it already came back. So, it could have probably been prevented, or maybe, they found it sooner. It's just the whole thing, it's so sad, because at least I know she would have had that, and she'd have been able to, do more church services and stuff like that here. And then Michaela, she was just young, and she was following around with this dude in the tie, and we just went on this mission, doing dumb shit. And then it was her stepdad. He was molesting her and her little sister, so they went to it in the
Aww.
Yeah.
It's so sad because everybody, it's sad when people end up where they are. Like, you guys are in prison and all that. It's sad because everybody has their story with it,
Yeah.
It's sad.
Because, you have to look at it in a mindset of, like you heard me and Michaela had talked before, and she's like, Taylor, I don't even remember, and I said, girl, who are you talking to? She's like, I don't even really remember a lot of stuff. She's like, I think I did 1 minute. Then her and her cousin one day just went and set the house on fire and killed him.
Wow.
And her cousin was there too. Yeah, and I'm not saying any of these, I'm not condoning any of that, saying any of it's right. I'm just saying,
right,
I got closer than two girls because, we would always be out there if we looked around at everybody else, we looked around and been like, oh my God, we really, in a normal place, we don't belong there because we don't be doing that stuff they be doing all the time. We don't be thinking about going to go get high or acting a fool, all that. That was an incident in their life that set off something that was a moment in their life that they just done something stupid,
Exactly. That's what I've been telling you. That's why I would never judge anything because, you don't know where their mindset was at that moment because we all have moments. It's just a matter of how you react in that moment. None of us are perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it. It's like I have moments, but it's like everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. It's sad that she went through that. Yeah, they all miss you so much too. They're
And they didn't count mitigating factors on any of theirs. And so us three would sit around and talk sometimes and we'd be like, how come we didn't get mitigating factors? Because think about it. All these people, and no offense to them, but there were certain people there that would be in and out of jail, in and out of prison, over and over again, getting high, robbing people, getting high, fighting people, getting high, abusing people, all this stuff. And they kept getting chance after chance, treatment after treatment, that type of thing. And it was they used mitigating factors to get more sentences and stuff like that. But, us three got railroaded. So it was always we were able to relate,
Yeah, exactly.
But they look at us differently because they're like, oh, she's a nurse. Look at me, oh, she was a teacher, she know better. They look at Michaela like, oh, you should know better. You were doing good, you were going to college, that type of thing,
Mhm. Yeah, but things happen.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we all have souls, and God forgives, and that's the way I look at it. And I want to live with God, and that's He forgives, and I do too.
I know.
So,
when did these crazy people find out? They found out the same day you did?
Yeah. No, it was. I want to tell you all about this. I don't know if they'll get these phone out. They're going to know. They're like, oh, we're going to find. She's like, we're going to find out who's telling her all this. I'm like, oh, God.
Tell me why now.
Should I tell you? Should I tell you anyway? I mean, they're going to stalk. I mean, if they're going to find out, they're going to find out. But they're going to stalk me so bad.
Who's telling me all what? You mean the stuff you told me to pass?
Yeah, those people.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You get what I'm saying?
So they're trying to get stuff from there so they can find that out.
They already have one info about you already. She just posted yesterday. And the lady that you've been talking to since 2020, she has blonde hair. I'm not going to mention any names. I don't know if that's really her name, but she has a YouTube. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't talked to anybody with blonde hair. YouTube.
She's like an older lady.
Are you talking about Allie?
No.
Allie?
No.
Older lady.
No. She's an older lady, blonde hair. She has a YouTube kit. I'll just tell you. She's been writing you, and she put your letters up. An older lady, her
I
parents.
I never nobody with letters.
Well, in the past. It was in the past. She, her parents died. Her mom died of cancer.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, don't trust her. Just saying. She's going to write you.
I have never. Yeah, I have already known she's done what she did in the past. So I've never given her any kind of information about anything because I know that's how she is.
Yeah, she's two-faced, really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't really like watching this, but I also want. I also want to see what they're going to say too, you know, so it's hard to like walk away, but also I want to see what they're saying about us, you know, so it's like, but what?
Yeah, so she sent me a message and she was like, this was on May 11th. She said, Happy Mother's Day. When did you move back to Colorado? I went to send an e-card on getting out, and you went there. Take care and have a great day.
She didn't.
Okay,
No, she's
so
lying. She's freaking lying. She has it on her thing that she was going to reach out to you. She talks crap about you, and she's lying.
Are you talking about?
It's kid on there. I know she doesn't use her real name because she tries to keep her stuff quiet, but yeah, it's the blonde lady, the older lady. Her mom passed away. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
the mom and dad. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Is she? Because she said she was going to write you on there and find out about why you got moved. Huh?
I didn't tell her anything. I didn't tell her anything other than I said, because she already knew about the whole predator thing. So I just said, yeah, girl. And this is what I said. I said, I came back on Monday. Praise God, I'm out that hole. I put, because she had sent me that in a reply. And I said, I'm thankful to be back. You know, the predator. And it says back in a clean place. And then I went on to talking about what I had ate that day or whatever. I didn't say anything else other than that.
Oh, okay.
I said, yeah, I want to be a dog handler, just get some therapy, trying to be a dog handler. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to you too. And I said, bye.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she wrote on there, she said on there, who's ever telling her about all this, you know, you're just I've been talking to her for this long and you all don't understand. And, you know, something about, you all don't get, you know, what we've been talking for 5 years. So all you trying to whatever, you know, her and I have been talking for this long. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to knock you out right now. I mean, she seems like a nice lady, but
for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to think how she is. What she was trying to say in there, like, she was trying to make it seem like, oh, she knows more type thing. Like, oh, I've been doing this and I know more or whatever, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
When she asked me specifically why I didn't give her any
good, because that's what she wants, and that's what she wants to put out and talk crap
or whatever. Yeah.
I was like, should I tell her about that? You know, because I'm just looking out for you, you know.
Yeah, no, you could tell me.
Oh,
Remember,
okay.
you're talking about the lady that was like doing that with the phone calls out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I already know she's like that. That's why when I do stuff like that, I do stuff. If I want it told, I'll say something to people like that because I want it told why, instead of people getting a certain narrative that they think is their narrative and
they want
narrative.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you to do. Give them a different narrative, you know what I mean? Something that they don't want, but you know how we talked about it.
Yeah, because the reason I turned it that approach was that she did that to be like, oh man, they took her back to a good place and make them even mad.
Oh, they're mad about that. They are so mad that you're back there. They want you treated so badly, like Ellie and all them. She already put in your intake paperwork up. And they were like, yeah, she's moved back, and they showed your, you know, when you do an MA search and you can see that's your old picture. And they showed that. I'm like, oh my God, these people are really stalkers. Like, dude, it hasn't even been like a week yet.
Yeah, like, I haven't been intake, so I haven't done nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, wow. And then they're like, oh, we're shocked. She doesn't have any disciplinary, only one. And we know that she sold those pants, and we're going to find out. I don't want to say more than that, but I'm like, oh, God.
I don't have any disciplinaries here.
No, not there. You only had one from Kansas, and they were shocked.
Oh, yeah.
They were shocked. I'm like, she's going to try to get all your, they're going to be, if they get this call, they're going to be like, oh, now we know. Because she's like, oh, we're going to get the phone calls. We're going to find out who's telling her. And I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what she said, too. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm moving by you, and I'm just going to go mind my business and be by you, so it doesn't matter, whatever. If they get my info, then I guess, and they know who told you, then I guess, whatever, right?
I should write her back and be like, I'm
telling you straight up, because I love you and all that, do not trust that lady. She talks so much crap about you. It's not even funny. That what?
I should write her back and be like, oh, by the way, I was going to tell you who's getting this stuff is, and just make up something crazy.
You should. You should just mess with her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, yeah, I'm going to find out why she, you know, I thought, oh, and on your video, it says conversation with a killer. I'm like, really? You're huh?
She
I'm
was
like,
really bored, huh?
yeah, I'm like, okay, you're trying to be cool with her and act like you're cool with her and you care about her and you're going to put something like that. That kind of stuff really, really makes me mad. Like, it really upsets me bad, you know?
But the crazy thing about it is, like, I know how people are. Like, you can't play someone who already knows how to do mind games herself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, when I used to do mind games back in my time, you know what I mean? Because that's how I adapted, especially through my early years in my 20s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I already knew that's how people were. So I'd be like sitting back, calculating and thinking like, okay, and I'll say something and then I'll tell one person one thing and then another person a different thing. That way, whatever gets out, I know who that person is. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Girl, I've been doing this for years. I used to do that shit at work because I feel like
that way you would know who's saying what.
Yeah, because I couldn't stand people at work. They'd be talking about everybody.
I can't stand that crap. Like I was so close on writing her. I was gonna be like, you know what, this about tell her. And you think that you have
always say, pray for her. Just keep praying for her.
I know you calm me down a lot. You've calmed me down so many times.
She lost her mom. She lost her dad. She's hurt.
Yeah.
So she's taking out her hurt on other people, and that's what she's doing. And like, it took me a long time to grow in this. I'm telling you, if it weren't for Jesus Christ, I couldn't say that. Because I just couldn't talk to them. But like, she's hurting. The devil's using her. And she's thinking that she's getting clout and people and friends and love and all that.
Right.
Whatever she's doing online. Yep.
And that's not love. By having a YouTube and talking crap on people, that is not like, I'm just sitting here like, I can't believe these people actually do that. Like they, ever since all this is going on, I'm like, I actually witnessed all this two-faced stuff. I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, this is crazy,
Yeah, like
because you don't really see it. Huh?
Somebody wrote me named Brandon Strausser, right? I figured it was a fake person, right? You know what I mean? So anyway, so I wanted to see what they say. So they wrote me in advance, and they said, hold on, where's the message they sent me? Hold on. Crap, right here. Oh, wait, I'm still figuring this thing out. Inbox. Okay, hold on. Brandon Strausser. Okay. He says, I've waited so long to talk to you. What's up? I'm Brandon, but I go by Shay. But my name is Brandon. Yeah, he said, okay, whoever they're playing games said this. They said,
they're playing games.
Oh, I know. He said, I was born April 84, and I live in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
The Indiana thing, guess who's from Indiana?
Who?
Amy Lane.
Oh.
So, anyway, so he went on talking whatever. So I wrote back some silly shit. Like, hey, how do I know you're real? Send me a picture with 4 fingers. Hold up 4 fingers, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I sent another reply after that because I forgot to say whatever. And I said, oh, by the way, if this is Amy Lane, girl, don't ever write me again.
Awesome.
I didn't know. And if it's one of these crazy people, they're probably going to be like, oh, shit, it's Amy Lane, all private. Like, oh, look at here. I tried to tell her my name is Brandon, but yet I'm Shane. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of people that want to mess with you, so you already know that. That's why I'm like, watch out.
I'll be doing the same thing back.
Good.
Thank you for using monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey.
Hello.
Girl, these crazy people online are crazy.
Oh, my God. I told you.
They done called up here pretending to be me calling hotlines reporting shit.
Are you serious? See, they're already starting there. Oh, my God.
They just called me down there to talk to me and was like, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm looking at them like, what? What?
What did they even say?
They were like, you have an open investigation. I'm laughing. I'm like, what? Oh, what? I said, you talking about the state of Kansas? Because I didn't thought we were talking about Kansas. I'm like, yeah, I have it on these suckers. And like, no, here. And I was like, no. And she was like, well, someone called the Priya hotline saying it was you.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm telling you, they're gonna mess. They want to mess with you like so bad. Like I've been trying to tell you this, you know. That's why I get so mad because it's like you don't even know really like probably about 90%, unless whoever's telling you. But there's like so much I haven't talked to you about yet, like what they say and stuff. That's why all I tell you is watch who you talk to, you know.
Yeah.
Because and then they put all this stuff out in how they talk about you so bad. They put this stuff on YouTube, so you know there's all these people watching. So then all these other people are going to try to mess with you, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're making them mad inside, so all they want to do is mess with you. And then in the messages, they say, oh, I'm going to write her and tell her this and that. I'm like, really? Why don't you all just leave her alone, you know? That's why I want to warn you on it, because I don't trust anybody right at this point with any of it, you know?
Well, you can.
It really upsets me. It makes me boil inside, honestly. And it's hard to, like, I'm so scared they're going to get these phone calls and know it's me and then stalk me. But I don't really, like, I'm at a point, though. I'm really at a point, though, that I'm just going to go by and live by you. And, I mean, if they get it, they get it. I mean, I can't help it. I'm going to still talk to you, so I don't care. But, I mean, I do because I don't want them to stalk me or my family or any of that kind of stuff, because that's what it creates, you know.
But that's not going to happen, because we're going to believe and have faith that God knows that that's crazy. God knows that that's creating harm on people. And I know the devil doing it, but we're just going to keep faith that God's not going to let that happen, because that's just crazy. And we're just going to have to keep doing that.
I've been wanting to talk to you so bad about all of it and how I feel and how stressed I am with all of it, because I can't see what
you out.
It does, because it's like, and plus on the top of it all, I care about you like so much that hurts already, and then on top of it, I have to be afraid that I'm going to be stalked because of these people. You know what I mean? It's like, you all need to get a life. Seriously, go out and do something. Get off your YouTube and stop talking about all these people. That's not what God wants. God wants forgiveness, and we're all souls. We all do things wrong in life. You're not perfect either, so get out of here and go live your life. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. That's why I get so mad, you know?
Yeah.
All it does is create, like, people stalking, like, other people and stuff. It's like, you know, I think so differently. I think with God, and I think about, like, you know, he forgives, he loves, he's unconditional love. You know what I mean? And these people just hate, and that's not what God wants. God does not want you to hate. You know what I mean? And I just get so mad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish that she could watch this, if she could, you know, and that's why I'm telling you, don't trust that lady, don't trust those people, because they act all nice, but they're not, you know. I'm so afraid they're going to find out about me, because they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to find out who's telling her about our YouTube and this and that. I'm like, oh God, you know, I'm so scared, but I mean, at the same time, I gotta trust in God, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
He'll protect us. You know, I just want to be with you.
Hold on. Hello? Good now? Okay, yes. I'm gonna call you back. They're calling me back down there, okay?
Okay, all right, talk to you later.
I'll call you right back.
Okay, bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Girl,
it does
they just called up here and called tip line.
What?
Yeah, they told me they were just going to close everything out and not to worry about it.
Okay. I know she's going to try to get your incident reports and stuff from there, too. They're like, oh, she has been behaving there. Well, it's going to change when she's in there. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
They thought my behavior was going to change here?
Yeah, your good behavior, because they were shocked because she got, like, something from your being there, like some paper. I don't know. She just posted that yesterday. So she got that. She's like, oh, I'm going to get all the incident reports, like, showing your behavior and stuff. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, she's going to change, you know, being there and stuff. And I'm like, dude, you all need to get a life.
Why am I changing? The thing is, I don't do that stuff.
I know. That's
What kind of thing? What kind of thing did I get now? Oh,
What?
you said I got something from here.
Yeah, it was like something when you first got there or something, and it like was giving you numbers, something. It was, I don't know what that evaluate, like it was like, it had like numbers on there, like it was giving you like a score.
Mm-hmm.
And it like had like one write up on there, and it had no like escapes and stuff like that. It was just like a sheet.
Oh, okay.
And she put it on there. She's like, I'm gonna be able to get all incident reports, and we're gonna see what's going on. And I'm like, oh my god, you need to get a life. Like seriously, you go all out of your way for that. I'm like, oh, I need to tell her. Because everything that you do, they're gonna be
crazy.
And it's stalking.
Yeah.
Oh my man, you guys are crazy. Yeah, it's like
They
hard
probably,
not to, because I want to see what they say about you, but
yeah, they called me down there. I had just left from there, and then they called me back there, and I walked in like, oh God, what now? I was like, I'm the biggest. What? I said, this is how I said it. I said, what am I now? I'm the biggest drug dealer on the block, or what?
All you're doing is trying to like live, you know. People just mess with you. It's crazy. That is
the
so
guy
crazy.
was laughing at me. He was like, is that right? I said, I don't know. Let me guess. Is that what they said now? And he was like, well, he was like, they were just calling it line again. I'm like, okay. No, I said, at this point, you guys are not going to know. Let's just keep arguing now.
Yeah. They called again, or they just called once?
Yeah. No, that's why I went back the second time.
Oh my God, they called again?
Yeah, that's why I went back the second time.
Wow.
Yeah. You're gonna see. Here's the thing. You got to think about it. When I was at Kansas, there was no real public information that I was there. So whenever they would do some stuff like that, you know, they just would be like, I don't know who you're talking about, and hang up, you know. So,
yeah, exactly.
They know that obviously I'm here because my charge is in this state, so therefore everything has to be, you know, on that page or whatever, on that CDOC page. So of course they, you know, got people calling or whatever, but you know, like I told him, I said, y'all just gotta be like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, and be like, you know, do you need some kind of mental health assistance or something, and hang up on them.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
Something.
Yeah.
So start threatening them with falsifying information. You start threatening people a little bit with some charges themselves, I bet you they'll stop, you know?
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah, that's crazy that they actually called up there.
twice. That's why I said, what did I do now? I'm the biggest drug dealer on the block.
I know, I'm just so afraid. Like, I'm so scared what they're going to get. It's like, oh, but I saw online that I'm not even supposed to be, we're not charged for the phone calls, but I was charged 37 cents for 20 minutes. So maybe they're still, like, backing it down.
Working on it.
Okay, maybe they're working on it.
Yeah, because I read about it. There was a new law, and I'm like, wonder what's going on. But, I mean, that's pretty cheap, 37 cents for 20 minutes.
Or maybe they made a deal to have a certain like connection fee amount or something, you know?
Yeah.
Because they still have to pay for this system to work, because this is an upgraded system compared to, you know, standing in the phone line, people arguing, fighting, acting a fool, you know, that type of thing. So I'm sure there still has to be some sort of fee for this, you know. Maybe that's what it is. And by the way, let me say this in case, you know, these stalkers are listening.
Right?
I was sarcastic. I was sarcastic with Carl, and I said, let me guess, it's a big drug dealer bot. By the way, I don't even know what drugs is like, so just put it out there like that. So, yeah. But anyway.
What's that
word
I was
that's
looking
all I
for?
need.
Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? I was trying to look for the word, but I can't think right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so crazy.
You know, we had to write down, after I talked to you earlier, we had to go into a group. That's where I went to group the first time. And it was like talking about what you had anxiety about or whatever. So I wrote it down in my paper. It's like a private thing. It's not, you can share or you can not share. You can just let the clinician see, right? So of course, I told the clinician that I usually share all the time about stuff or help people, whatever, but I put that on there and I told her, please don't share this. And she said, okay. So when she had talked to me privately about it, and she was like, what? She's like, hold on. She's like, so you mean to tell me that PDOC told you to call us the first time? I said, yep, sure did. So you want me to tell you where to go look them up at? And she was like, I can't believe that. And I was like, oh, you better believe it, honey. I said everything, canteen sheets, you name it. So, I mean, and she was just like baffled, like shocked, looking at me. And I'm like, and I'm not crazy, just by the way. I don't know what Kansas people try to tell y'all. I said, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is a fact and it can be checked. And
right.
And she was like just mind blown by it. And she was like, and I was telling her how they were like adamant about trying to get like cancer stuff or whatever. And she was just like looking at me like, she was so much shocked. She couldn't process it all. And I looked at her and I said, imagine how you can't process it. I said, imagine how I feel and the people that care about me feel trying to process it. So,
right, exactly.
I said, it's difficult. And she was like, I would be, she goes, I would be so mad. I've had the same number for 20 years. And the people started, I said, you see what I'm saying? Exactly. And I said, at the end of the day, like, leave people alone. Like, okay, until the call is recorded or whatever. That's supposed to be for informational purposes, like for security purposes here. Like, to make sure, you're not doing anything crazy, or there's not, like, you're not in a crisis, or you're not trying to hurt somebody or showing it all, or, that type of thing.
Right, it should be only for the facility.
Yeah,
for them.
I said there should be a privacy, thing with that. Even though a person does agree to that, monitoring and recording, it does not tell them, do they blast this all over the internet and all your information? Like, you may play it in the captain's office or the warden's office because you're checking into something, or whoever listens to it or whatever is fine, but you shouldn't be at no point. Yeah. So me and her were talking about that, and she was just like, I know I've heard stuff where people have said that, and made it out there on TV. I told the lady, I said, yeah, but that was a different situation. I said, this was like, okay, like, they put this one hyperbolic case, one of his calls out there. That's because he was talking about something really, really crazy, and this missing case. This missing aspect of the case, and he was telling somebody about it. So of course they were going to put that out there. That was evidence. You know what I mean? But when you were talking just randomly to your family and friends just about random stuff, what does it matter?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they want to listen to everything, like everything. And it's crazy. It's like, why? Why? And it actually threatens everything, too.
Well, the one good thing about it is they won't have all the calls, because remember, I didn't call from my account all the time. But the only reason I called you from my account all the time was because I couldn't always use the other account, and I called you more than anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we always just talked about random stuff or how crazy they were or whatever. Like, if I stayed on the phone with a family member, it might have only been, just a regular 15-minute or 20-minute phone call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the problem was me calling on someone else's account all the time was like, it was difficult because if they wanted to use it, or something like that. So, if I didn't log on in hers and she logged on to mine in Kansas, then it could have, messed hers or whatever. And I didn't want anybody to get frustrated or whatever. But anyway, it's just crazy. Some of the stuff they won't get, but like at the end of the day, I don't want them to get into it anyway, and they're not, because they're claiming that and then use it. So
Yeah.
Amen.
Right. I just gotta pray and just hope none of the Kansas stuff goes out.
Yeah.
And what it is, what it is. If they're gonna whatever, I can't stop it, whatever. But It is nerve-wracking right now because they're going to go for everything and try to get everything. But they might not release these calls because every time I look, it says no. And now that you're in there, they might have just released it because you were moved.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm praying. Because it's like I have to worry about what I say to you on the phone. Why do I have to always worry about what I say to you on the phone? It shouldn't even be their business anyways. You know?
No.
I mean, when I talk to you about...
Go ahead.
What?
I said, go ahead.
Oh, I said when I talk to you about it might be personal. Like something might be going on that day. Why do they have to know all that? You know? Who knows? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, when you looked that ball up, was that a Kansas call?
Did I what?
When you said you looked up that ball earlier, was that a Kansas ball?
When I looked up what?
The law. You said there was
No, it's Colorado. No, it's Colorado.
Yeah, so that's the thing, though. It would the Kansas ball would apply.
Yeah, well, Kansas doesn't show anything, but they said that they can't get anything, and even if it's just being you, they can't. I guess it's Kansas. They just don't release them, and that's what I'm hoping that it's the truth.
But I'm saying, is that going to be the truth? Is that going to be the truth that I'm gone?
Is there a state ball on it?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's state.
I know the EAI people told me there was a state law. Remember when I kept having, like, the whole thing went down and, like, all these people calling there to begin with? The EAI people told me that there was a state law, and he was like, it's a state law, we can't release it. He was like, unless it pertains, that's how he said it. He said, unless it pertains to something that would be a new case, like they would charge you with something, you know what I mean? Like you had committed crime in prison or whatever. And that's what he told me.
But other than that, they don't.
That's what he said now. Again, money talk, so.
Yeah, I know. When I'm reading about this, I'm like, okay, do I trust this? Because, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, it does say it. So it says that they can't profit off the phone calls. And they're not supposed to, so I'm praying and hoping that that's true. I'm not 100% true with it, but that's what it says. You know what I mean?
My hell, I know in Kansas they would release it just for the hell of it because they were pissed I sued them.
I hope not. They said that they can't release any. Kansas won't, and even if it just being you, they don't. But who knows? I mean, they just ask. Who knows? I don't know. I just pray not, because there are some personal things that really should not go out.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot with a few people, like. Me and Amy, like my friend Amy, not the other girl Amy.
Not the other one.
There's personal stuff between her. There's personal text messages or detail messages between me and Harley. There's a thread that Aunt Brenda that I would copy and paste everything on to keep notes.
Yeah.
So.
And they. Right, and they think you don't talk to Harley.
I
know. I don't know what I should say about that on there. That's your daughter, you know what I mean? I don't want them to whatever. Yeah. That's a touchy one, but yeah,
I mean, Harley goes to her phases, Why wouldn't she? She misses her mom. Of course she goes to her phases.
Right.
After my life, I'd be like, oh, she don't ever get mad. Yeah, she goes to her phases and she gets mad, and I talk to Amy about it, and maybe like, well, this is how she's feeling right now, and then it all works itself back out. So, and that's just emotions that she's allowed to have because
she's allowed to have them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Her mom is always in her life. So, it's hard for her, and she's, her father is deceased. So, like, of course, she's allowed to have that emotion. Just like every time she got mad at me, and then. I would always send a message and say, "My mother's love is unconditional." So I know you're mad at me. It'd be times like hard times around certain holidays, or like that type of thing. It's how you feel when you miss your mom. You get certain ways.
it's totally understandable with her. You know, I mean, you have every right to feel how you do, and she doesn't have you. So, you know, people need to understand that and leave everybody alone. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
She's gonna have them.
Yep. And then I would call her, you know, like obviously I always called Harley on another account, you know, and then I might message her on GTO and be like, it was actually her own account, her actual account on GTO. And then, you know, I might message her and be like, hey, what's going on? You didn't answer. And she might first write back and be like, I've been busy with school. Which I know that's just cover up because she learned that trait from me, you know, look, I'm just busy with school. I know she's upset. But then I have to send messages to be like, you know, mostly thinking about her and her feelings. Like, don't me, don't, you know, I don't care about mine, you know. And once I do that, then she works herself out in her head and then she's fine again, you know. So
yeah, that's how it's gonna be, you know, until you know whoever. You never know how long, but she's always gonna. You're her mom. She's always gonna love you and want you, you know.
yeah.
And you guys are really close, so it probably feels weird, you know. I can't imagine how she feels right now.
Yeah. I mean, in a way you do because, you know, like, yeah, your mom, I'm not passed away, but you still feel the same way she feels because you can't pick up the phone and call your mom whenever you want to, you know?
Right.
And
yeah.
So you have those same feelings, and the difference is you just didn't have anger at your mom, you know, because you're just trying to understand things. You might have more anger at the cancer word, but it's still all emotions, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. It's a lot of emotions mixed. You know, one minute you're fine, and then something will remind you of it, you know, and then you break down. It's kind of like it's grieving, really.
Yeah, and think about it, like, she was okay for a little bit, and then she was mad at me for a few weeks, and it was simply because a reminder popped up of a place we had been. You know what I mean? And that's okay for her to take that time because she's got to do whatever she's got to do mentally to be okay because this is hard for her, you know. And of course she wants her mom around. Of course she wants, you know, everything to be back the way it was, you know. Who wouldn't? You know? So I never get mad at her. I always just be like, you know, I check on her and then be like, a mother's love unconditional. I know you're upset, but I'm gonna keep praying. And then God always handles it.
You have 1 minute left.
You know. So.
Yeah. That's good that you're understanding with it.
Yeah.
And it is true. Mother's love is
Hello, this is a prepaid